Come on, get up! We have to move now!
You ever feel like your whole life is just math, you can't win it, like the equations keep getting bigger but your wallet stays the same? That was my normal. My name is Kai. I grew up in a place we call the Foundry. It used to be all steel mills and grit. Now it's mostly empty lots and grit. I'm 17, trying to hit 18 without letting my entire future sink. But the anchor around my neck wasn't books or classes. It was the blood sugar meter beeping next to Nana Ilara's worn armchair. Nana, she's the one who raised me. After my folks, well, after the highway took them, she spent 40 years cleaning the chrome towers downtown, built on the backs of places like the Foundry, until the diabetes finally just broke her body. She's my everything. But right now, she's the one thing that costs more than I can earn. We had a little under $130 to our name. Rent was due. And the life-saving shot the insulin Nana needed today that cost $340. You see the impossible math. Every dollar I made, every hour I spent washing grease off plates, or hauling bags at the local market, it all went into a black hole of medical bills that just kept getting hungrier. I'm supposed to be an engineer, right? Mr. Chen, my calculus teacher, he says I'm built for bridges, for structures that last. I got the acceptance letter from State Tech, full academic scholarship available, but the application fee alone, $85. That money was supposed to be my escape hatch, but yesterday Nana needed blood pressure meds, so there went $28. My future, shrinking $28 at a time. It's funny, the walls of our tiny apartment aren't covered in posters. They're covered in blueprints, designs for self-sustaining towers, earthquake-proof spans, the dreams of a kid doing homework by flashlight, because yeah, the power got cut last month. Nana always told me, soft and serious, honey, integrity is the only currency they can't devalue. You keep doing right, and the universe it keeps score. I wanted to believe her. I really did. But when I walked to the pharmacy that Monday morning, and Sarah, the tech who knows my soul, just gave me that tired, sympathetic look, telling me corporate policy meant the insulin was gone, poof, just gone, because I was $213 short, that faith got thin, real thin. That night, man, that night felt biblical. The Foundry hadn't seen a storm like that in years. October rain was hammering down like somebody was trying to smash the city. I'd just finished my double shift, hands raw from hot water, steam smelling like cheap Italian soap, but Chef Vito, he slipped me an extra 20, told me it was from a table who heard me talking about my Nana. Good people do still exist. I reminded myself, pulling my thin jacket tight. The bus stopped running, 45 minutes of walking home through the storm, through streets you don't walk alone in after dark. But Nana needed her medication. Even if it was just the pain meds, at 11:30 sharp, I felt that heavy, wet determination, the kind that tastes like rust. I was crossing the old Iron Bridge overpass, thinking about that $85 application fee I didn't have, thinking about those blueprint dreams that were probably just wet paper. Now when the sound hit, not the rain, a screech, a metal tear, a crunch that felt wrong, sickeningly wrong. 50 yards ahead, a dark sedan, a high-end import, had clipped the guardrail and flipped onto its side. And then the fire. I saw the flames, orange and greedy, licking up from the engine, growing faster than anything natural should, and through the shattered spider-webbed glass, I saw him, an older white guy, expensive suit, hanging upside down by his seatbelt, blood trickling down his forehead, his eyes wide and screaming a sound the wind swallowed. Help me. 2 other cars had stopped, drivers standing back, phones glued to their ears doing the safe, smart thing, calling 911. The pickup driver screamed at me, "Kid, get back, it's gonna blow." And he was right. The smell of raw gasoline was a promise. I pulled out my cracked phone, 1 bar left, and the dispatcher's voice was exhausted. ETA 15 to 20 minutes. 15 minutes was a lifetime on that overpass. I looked at the fire. I looked at the man's pleading face. I thought about Nana waiting, depending on me. And then I thought about what she taught me. Integrity. It wasn't about the money, wasn't about the thanks. It was about what you do when the structure is failing, when the physics says run, but your soul says hold. I didn't think about the insulin, didn't think about my job, didn't think about State Tech. I just saw the equation, life greater than fear, and I ran toward the fire. The narration tempo speeds up here, mimicking adrenaline. Sharp and detailed, the heat was a physical slap. The BMW was on its side, driver door facing the sky. I dropped to the wet asphalt, crawled to the passenger side where the window was gone, just broken glass confetti. I wrapped my jacket around my hands, instinct, not planning, and squeezed in, upside down, smoke thick like soup, gasoline fumes burning my sinuses. "I'm Kai," I yelled over the roar. "What's your name?" "Thea," he coughed, his voice weak. "Will Thea." The seatbelt was jammed, metal on metal. I found his utility knife in the glove box, a fancy titanium thing, and started sawing. My hands were shaking, not from fear, but from the raw effort. He kept asking, "How old are you, son?" I told him, 17 ... Almost 18. He coughed, a dry, ragged sound, and said something I'll never forget. When I was 17, I thought I was invincible. You still might be. Finally, the fabric snapped. Mr. Thayer collapsed onto the roof, which was now the floor of the car, but his legs were pinned by the crushed dashboard. That's when my engineering brain took over. Physics, leverage, force. The steering wheel was the fulcrum. Mr. Thayer, listen to me, I commanded. All the teenage fear gone, replaced by Mr. Chen's calculus voice. When I say 3, push up with everything you have. I pull. We shift the dashboard 6 inches. Ready. I grabbed the wheel, the metal already searing hot, my back to the flames licking into the front seats. I pulled, straining every muscle Mr. Chen said I had. 1, 2, 3. It worked. That dashboard, heavy steel and plastic, groaned, shifted, and his legs came free. I grabbed him, pulled him through the shattered window, feeling glass slice through my jacket, through my skin. We rolled onto the wet pavement. 15 seconds later, the world ended. The gas tank blew. That fireball wasn't a movie special effect. It was lit up the foundry sky. Pieces of burning metal rained down like angry fireworks. Mr. Thayer grabbed my arm. His voice, a ragged whisper. Thank you. Thank you. The sirens arrived. The young paramedic. She patched my hands, second-degree burns, cuts from the glass. You just saved a life tonight, Kai Williams, she said. William Thayer, Mr. Thayer was on a stretcher, eyes fixed on me. He pulled the oxygen mask down. He offered me his wallet. Hermes leather, cash, stacked thick. $500, Kai, please. It's the least I can do. You're hurt because of me. $500. Enough for the insulin, the rent, a full month's breath. But Nana's voice was ringing in my ears. We earn what we get. We don't take handouts. I looked at him, at his expensive suit, his gold watch, catching the ambulance light, a man whose problems were solved with a phone call, and I said automatically, you don't need to repay me anything, sir. I just did what anyone would do. He looked at me, his sharp blue eyes suddenly respectful, almost analytical. Son, he said, tucking the money away. Pulling out a business card instead, Blackstock. Minimalist text, William Thayer, Chief Executive Officer, no company name. Just a stylized M logo that looked familiar. Your grandmother sounds like a wise woman. Call me if you need anything. Anything at all. The black SUV pulled up. License plate, M301. He was gone. I stood there in the storm. Wet, burned, broke, and holding a piece of black cardstock that meant nothing. Walking back to a dark apartment where my grandmother was dying. I couldn't work for a week. Doctor's orders. No income. I had refused $500. I was a hero, sure, but I was also a massive failure. The morning after felt like a bad punchline. My bandaged hands throbbed. Nana Alara was worse, her blood sugar numbers hitting the danger zone. We were out of insulin. Totally, utterly out. That black business card, that empty promise was my only lifeline. Yet it felt like the ultimate mockery. I called the number 15 times in 3 days. Always the same polished, corporate voicemail. You've reached Meridian Dynamics. Our offices are currently closed for executive meetings. Meridian Dynamics. I still didn't place the name, but that stylized M logo on the card, it was everywhere. I watched Nana struggling to breathe in her chair, cold and clammy, numbers climbing over 387. She was dying. Right there, because I wouldn't take a handout. Heroes don't watch their grandmothers die, do they? Maybe I should have let him burn. The local news kept calling me a hero, running grainy photos of the crash. Local teen hero saves. Prominent businessman. Prominent, yet that prominence couldn't buy one syringe of insulin. I walked to the newsstand, and the headline finally hit me. Meridian Dynamics CEO survives fiery crash. A major figure in Ohio's economic future. Meridian Dynamics. I looked at the massive futuristic tower that dominated the Cleveland skyline. That was Meridian. The dam finally broke at the pharmacy. Sarah, the tech, her face etched with real fear for Nana, said she'd tried everything. I turned to leave, feeling the weight of the foundry's failure, my failure on my shoulders, and that's when my cheap, cracked phone rang. Unknown number, please hold for Mr. Thayer. My heart jumped so hard I thought my ribs would crack. Kai. His voice was tired but urgent. I am so sorry. Emergency board meetings. I just got the full report from my investigator about your Nana, my investigator. I'll explain everything. Can you meet me in 1 hour? And Kai ... Bring your Nana, I'm sending a car. The car was a private ambulance. A doctor, Dr. Sarah Lane, administered emergency insulin right there in our dark, cramped living room. I watched the color return to Nana's cheeks, and for the first time, I felt the fire on the overpass truly end. Then William Thayer, Mr. Thayer, sat across from me, and the reality of his power hit. He pulled up a news site, Meridian Dynamics CEO and founder. We're the largest electric automotive manufacturer in Ohio, $12 billion in annual revenue, 50,000 employees. I stared at the numbers, they didn't make sense. 3 days ago, I was worried about $213. Now, I was sitting with a man worth $3.2 billion. He explained he wasn't just randomly driving through. He was in the foundry my neighborhood scouting the site for Meridian's largest ever expansion, an $800 million manufacturing plant that would create 5,000 direct jobs. I don't just build factories, Kai, he said, his blue eyes intense. I build communities, and I only invest where I find people worth investing in. He showed me the reports. His team hadn't just checked my school. They talked to Chef Vito, Mrs. Patterson, Mr. Chen. They knew I fixed my neighbor's appliances for free. They knew I tutored kids during lunch. I wasn't looking for someone to save my life, Kai, he confessed, leaning in. I was looking for someone who represents what this community, the foundry, could become. You didn't just pull me from a burning car. You showed me I was right to believe in this place. The narration tempo slows, becoming deeply serious, hopeful, and cinematic. What he offered me wasn't just a check. It was a complete structural redesign of my future and my community's future. First, the personal full premium medical coverage for Nana. Rent, utilities, solved. Full all-expense-paid scholarship to MIT for mechanical engineering. Guaranteed summer internships. Starting salary after graduation, $95,000. I was shaking, reading the bullet points. Then, the true offer. He slid architectural renderings across the desk, a massive complex, spanning 15 city blocks. This is the Meridian Dynamics Foundry Complex, he said. 5,000 jobs. Starting wage, $22 an hour, with full benefits. But it's more than a factory. He pointed to sections labeled Meridian Technical Institute, free training for locals, Community Health Center, Small Business Incubator. I want you to help design this entire project, he said, turning to me, not as an employee, but as the community development consultant. Your job is to ensure local residents get first priority for jobs, that we create training programs that match neighborhood skills, and that we protect the very people we're supposed to be helping. I looked at Nana, who was sipping tea, her face peaceful. I looked at the plans, 5,000 jobs, a future. 3 days ago, I couldn't afford insulin. Now, I was being offered the chance to rewrite the destiny of my entire neighborhood. I found my voice, all the confidence Mr. Chen said I had. If we do this, Mr. Thayer, we do it right. No displacement. These are good people who just need a fair chance. He smiled, a genuine, warm smile. That is exactly why I need you, Kai. I can bring the capital. You understand the heart. Deal, I said, shaking his hand. The promise of $1 billion company, now resting on the integrity of a 17-year-old kid from the foundry. 6 months later, the cranes were everywhere. I was at MIT, but every weekend, I was home, riding the bus, watching my blueprints turn into steel. Nana was healthy, volunteering at the new community health center. Unemployment in the foundry dropped from 23% to 8% before the factory even opened. That old question, was it worth it? Refusing the money, running into the fire. 2 years later, I drove across that same iron bridge overpass. I saw smoke rising, a food truck fire this time. A young girl, maybe 16, was pulling an elderly man to safety. Her name was Sophia Morales, a high school senior dreaming of electrical engineering. I recognized that look in her eyes. I gave her my new business card. Kai Williams, Community Development Consultant, Meridian Dynamics. We have scholarship programs, I told her, for students who show courage and character. I knew then, standing on the same spot where I'd refused $500, that Nana was right. Lying on the blueprints in my mind was the true equation. One act of courage doesn't just create ripples, it creates waves. And sometimes, you have to risk everything to start the movement. Now, tell me this. I was offered $500 in cash, no strings attached. That day, I refused it, demanding something intangible, respect and opportunity. If you were Kai, knowing your grandmother was hours from death, would you have taken the $500 cash, or done what I did, and bet your future on a business card? Tell me in the comments below. Let's talk about the true cost of integrity.